From recruiting and consulting firm Riderflex, I'm your host, Steve Urban, and here is your Riderflex episode of the day. And on today's episode of the Riderflex podcast, I've been interviewing people for 30-something years. I mean, seriously, I did my first interview when I was 16 years old. I was a key holder at a little convenience store in Oklahoma. So I've been interviewing and hiring people for a long time. As a hiring manager, as a VP, as a C-level executive, as a business owner for a recruiting firm, I've seen it all, just about. So often it comes down to the emotional connection that the candidate makes with the interviewer. It really does. What do I mean by that? Well, Google emotional connection on your own and look up all the different definitions you can find. But does the interviewer have some sort of connection with you? Did you strike any kind of emotion inside them at all? Did you connect with them in any way? Whatever it might be. Maybe you're both from Oklahoma. Maybe you both like, college football. Maybe you both like to go fly fishing. Maybe you saw a picture on the interviewer's desk of their family, and the interviewer, she's got one son and one daughter, and it's right there on her desk, and you mentioned that you have 2 kids. Maybe you have a toddler. Maybe they have a toddler. Who knows? Whatever that emotional connection is. Maybe you love the hot weather, and maybe it was hot that day when you went for the interview. I don't know. But so often, the person that's conducting the interview, they're looking for some sort of connection about you as a human being. Yes, skill set, resume, can you do the job? I'm just set all that aside for a minute. Okay, put that all aside. Let's just assume you're qualified for the job. Let's assume you match, your resume matched the job description. Put all that aside for just a second. If the interviewer has 5 or 6 people that match on paper, who are they going to hire? They're going to hire the person that they connect with. They're going to hire the person that matches the company atmosphere and culture and style the best. And so anything you can do to connect with the person, look for it. Whether you check their LinkedIn profile ahead of time, maybe you can find them on Facebook. Check their office right away. Anything in the office that can give you a clue as to what they might like to do outside of work. Any conversation you can have with the interviewer other than the job will help you make an emotional connection with them. It really is key. And I can't tell you how many times a client for us at Riderflex, they'll call us and they'll say, "Oh my gosh, I really liked Mary." Now, keep in mind, we had sent them several candidates, right? We sent them Bobby and Johnny and Sally, but they called and said, "I loved Mary." Meanwhile, all the other candidates were just as qualified as Mary. But why did they like Mary? Because Mary made a connection with the person interviewing them, right? They liked her because there was some sort of connection. It's very similar to when you meet somebody for coffee for the first time, right? If you meet a stranger for coffee, isn't it interesting how you start to formulate in your mind in the first several minutes whether or not you like the person? It's just a human nature thing, right? And so just keep that in mind. Emotional connection. I don't care if you're qualified or not. Look for a way to connect emotionally with the person interviewing you. And I promise you, it will give you a much better chance of landing the job. And there is your Riderflex tip of the day. The Riderflex podcast features entrepreneurs, business executives, and the stories behind how they got there, as well as daily tips on career advice and job interviews. Our show can be heard just about anywhere these days, but you can visit riderflex.com and click on the podcast page to hear all the previous episodes and learn more about the recruiting and consulting services we provide. Contact us at the email address info@riderflex.com or 888-964-5876. Thanks so much for listening, and if you enjoy our show, please be sure to subscribe to our channel and like the episodes.